All right, all right. What's going on, party people? This your man Grill. Woo, boy. It's another busy week. About had almost 20 signings. Went down to 17. Went back up to 20 something. Now back down to 17. Stuff been canceling, coming in, canceling, all over the place. But yeah. So the title talks about how to deal with divorce closings. Um, those can be very tricky. And also, thanks for hitting the like button, subscribing, and as always, I do appreciate each and every one of you. So thank you for tuning in. As always, thank you for going back and looking at the other videos that I've done. I really do appreciate it. So, working with divorce closings is hard because you don't know that they are a divorce one. I've been doing a lot more lately. Since this mortgage crisis have hit, there have been a lot of people getting divorces for one reason or the other. And in the finalization of a lot of it, or during that process, they got to rectify, reconcile the property ownership. That's what they have to do. They got to reconcile the property ownership. If if the wife is keeping the property, will the husband name be on the deed? If he's keeping the property, will just his name be on the deed? If both of them was on the loan, are they both going to stay on the loan? How is this going to work? Because if a spouse, they get a divorce and then the loan for this 200 or $400,000 home is on their credit report, that can affect them negatively. But if it gets paid off, it looks as a positive. So all of these things are happening right now. Not could happen. It is happening. It is happening. The issue is that when we're going into these closings, we don't know this. So I would say even more so as we're doing closings, you need to be aware and think about it. And it could be a purchase. Sometimes, because sometimes I think I've seen one where this person is buying it from that person, or somehow a lot of them are refis. Then in some cases, they're selling the property. So both of them are selling the property to get rid of it. It's like we're done, we're getting divorced, and then they split the proceeds. Now, here's where it gets tight. Because we are not informed of the situation, meaning that it's a divorce situation going on, we don't need to know why they're getting divorced and all of that. But knowing that this signing, which has two people's names on it, they're getting a divorce. And that's what, and you're going in there to meet one of them. That becomes a problem because when you go in there, or if you call them and you ask about the other person, they're like, no, they're not going to be here because we're getting a divorce. That can stir up some bad feelings. What's been happening more often than not, is that I get the order and it only has one of the person's name in it, but when I get the document, it has both persons' name in it. So if it got both persons' name in it, you're thinking that they both should be there, and then you get there and come to find out that they're not. And you can't always ask them ahead of time about whether they're going to have, of whether both persons are going to be there, because you don't have the documents at that time. You're just calling to confirm. So now, can you say, hey, just calling to see if there's going to be anybody else? If they say no, then you're like, all right, cool. But then when you see the documents, it shows a second person. All of that can be very confusing, and it can be stressful depending on how it's laid out. Where it becomes stressful for me is that I don't get to look at the documents until 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, or later at night. And then it's like I got an 8 o'clock signing, and I'm seeing two names here, but only one person is on the order. So am I meeting with two people, or am I meeting with one person because the other person is doing a split signing somewhere and there is no divorce, or is it because they're doing a divorce? Don't know. And I've done a closing where I get there and they're like, the gentleman was like, no, she's not here. She's in her own place. I'm like, what do you mean? We're divorced. And I had to go sign with him and then go over and sign with her. And I'm like, okay, didn't realize that. Sat down with her, she signed the paperwork, and it was very emotional for her because she was highly vested into that marriage, and they broke up after a lengthy amount of time of being together with kids and all of that. And she was not happy because she was in this tiny little apartment and he had the big house, nice house. So you can be in those situations and you just have to be cognizant of that and just think a little bit outside the box. When I'm doing them, I'm very careful not to talk about anything in the house that might bring up a memory and all of that. It can be very, very tense. Um, so I just go in there, get the job done, get out. I don't ask a whole lot of personal questions, or really any, because you just never know what might spark a traumatic feeling in them. I'm very, very cautious and careful of that. Don't talk negative around them. Don't even, especially for men, you with a young lady, don't talk negative. You know, some men, I don't do this, but some men, they talk negative about their wives, like, boy, I'm tired of her behind it. She always, don't do that around them, especially once you find out there's a divorce situation. Same thing for ladies. If you're with a man, don't do that. You know, I was with a person, she was getting a divorce, and they, oh man, they was very well off. And she told me her story about what was going on, and I felt really bad. I was like, daggone, dude, you got a good woman here. And he ran off with someone else after he got a degree and and got his civilian career because he used to be military. And I'm like, wow, he just, yeah, she's like, yeah, he's just leaving me, you know. So you have all kinds of scenarios and everything, and it was just very, very heartbreaking, you know, to hear somebody going through that, you know, and everything. So just be cognizant of it, be aware, have compassion, empathy, all of that. Don't try to rush through. Um, don't try to rush them through. Sorry about that, y'all. Or any of that. You got to be careful. Matter of fact, I did one tonight, and the mother, the lady's mother, kept wanting to ask me questions. I mean, she was very adamant. She was like, and the daughter was like, no, 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 don't worry about it. And I said, ma'am, I said, it's okay. I said, moms, if you want to ask me a question, feel free. And she asked me her question, and I explained to her dot dot dot, and she was like, okay, thank you. So she did. The daughter had it under control, but the mom was very, very adamant that she had to ask me a question, and she was not going to be happy or satisfied or at peace until she had the opportunity to ask me her question. So I said, I told the lady who I was signing with, I said, it's okay. It doesn't bother me. What do you want, mom? And I called her that mom. I said, what do you want, mom? And she asked her question. I was like, okay, cool. Here's what it is, just what it means. You know, and she was like, okay, thank you. And that was it. And she was good to go after that. Pops, he didn't have any questions, but mom did. So you need notifications all of a sudden. You have to be cognizant and have compassion. If you can do that, everything will work out fine for you. So I just wanted to share that with y'all. Y'all have a good evening and all of that. Hit the like button, share. Appreciate it. If you like the information on any of my videos, feel free to hit the super thanks and donate $1. But other than that, just keep focused. Go out here, do the business, and everything else will fall in place for you. All right. Talk to y'all later. Peace.